Hello there, my name is Anna Lundberg. I'm the founder of One Step Outside, author of Leaving the Corporate 9 to 5, and host of the Reimagining Success podcast. And we're talking this week about managing an identity crisis, and specifically in the context of a big career transition. So whether we are forced into a change, maybe we've been made redundant, maybe the nature of our profession and industry means that there is a certain ceiling at which point we do have to leave that job and move on to something else. Or perhaps we have even chosen to transition and go towards something that we feel is a better fit for us. In any of those scenarios, I think unfortunately, and maybe we don't quite anticipate, we don't expect that this is going to happen, but unfortunately we tend to go through this kind of crisis as to who we are, what we stand for, especially when we've had a particular reputation, particular standing, status in our industry, in our profession, after a very successful career in our field. It's very hard to let that go. And in particular, I think we're concerned about what other people think, and whether that's fair or unfair. We're sort of projecting what we think other people are thinking, and maybe we think that they're judging us. But that's a really tricky transition. So if I've been associated with a very high level, prestigious job in a big name company, I've built that reputation, people respect me for my knowledge and expertise, then suddenly not having that job title anymore, not having that big company behind me can be very challenging. And again, even when I am choosing to craft a new identity, I'm choosing to build a business which can be equally, if not more prestigious, having written a book, published a book, speaking on big stages, becoming really an influencer and a role model and an expert, a guru as some people would call it in your field. And even when you're creating something incredible and perhaps more exciting, that change can be really tricky. So that's something I think to acknowledge, to be aware of. And then we want to look at how we can start to begin to craft that new identity. So it's not about becoming a different person, but it's about perhaps connecting the dots, and we'll talk about this next week actually. Connecting the dots with our existing skills and experiences to inform this new positioning, this new personal brand in a way. And importantly, also remind ourselves, why are we making this change? So we can really anchor, we can really root this in a purpose. So it's not just sort of shedding this mantle and then becoming naked in the woods and not having anything to hold on to. We really understand the reasons why we're making this change. So if you're interested in this idea of managing your career identity, managing that potential identity crisis, I'd love to invite you to listen to this week's podcast episode. It'll be released on Thursday, as ever, new episodes every Thursday, every week, over on the Reimagining Success podcast. But have a think about, if you are about to embark on a change, maybe you have embarked on that change, what are your concerns? Are you still holding on to, as I did when I first left my corporate job, holding on to that identity within that existing network? What are the things you could do to perhaps surround yourself with new people outside of your immediate bubble, to begin to rethink what you're going to stand for in this new field, and how, again, you can reposition yourself and really build your confidence around this new identity? Unfortunately, in today's society, certainly in our part of the world here, there is a lot of worth and value attached to who we are. That classic question, and what do you do? Which is always the first question at a dinner party or at a networking event and so on at a conference. So we really link our identity, our worth to some extent, albeit subconsciously perhaps, to a particular job title, a role, a career. And of course, there's so much more to us than that particular job title. And that's what we're going to try to unpack. So again, have a listen to the next podcast episode over on the Reimagining Success podcast. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, as well as on the reimaginingsuccesspodcast.com website. I look forward to discussing this with you and to hearing your thoughts. Bye for now.